Good afternoon. I'm Dale with Vintage Flat 4, and you're in our motor building area, or I call it the motor building room. This has been sterilized. It's the end of 2025, the summer, and we have 5 motor builds going on the next few weeks. It's going to be a little crazy in here. So right now we're working on finishing up the cases at a couple different machine shops in Ohio and Michigan. And also we have one in California, specializing with more of the Type 4s. And we're working on the heads right now in the big barn, where I do most of my videos, and I do a lot of the grinding and a little bit of machining and most of the head work. And then of course they strip down and tear. Unlike some of the other builders and shops, where pretty much you just order everything in. You get a lot of boxes, a lot of cool new parts. You want the heads done, you get the heads done. You want this done, you get a new case. And you're doing slight modifications, but you're just building a whole bunch of new parts. But this is a Vintage Flat 4, so we're using original cases. That's most of our focus. Unfortunately, they're getting harder to find, and about 50% of them fail inspection. Either they fail my inspection, or they fail inspection of the different machine shops. So they're harder to find. But that's more of the specialty of what we do here. I have a lot of wonderful partnerships, especially when you're working with 50, 60-year-old, maybe 70, but most of mine is 50, 60-year-old magnesium cases, and of course the Type 4s are going to be aluminum. And when you're using those, there's a lot of wear. And it seems like if you're using something that old and vintage, you got to constantly partner yourself with people who know what they're doing. And I just wanted to announce today that we're partnering with AMSOIL. Actually, this has been brought on by one of my customers, Murray Pfaff. P-F-A-F-F, and we're doing an engine build for him, for a car of his called Stubby Cat. Well, he has introduced me to AMSOIL, and I forgot. This is something, back in California, back in the 80s, I mean, it was pretty strong, the specialty shops and the racing. And one thing about AMSOIL, there's a history of the original founder, and he was a fighter jet pilot. And he started getting into using a lot of that technology in the automotive world. And nowadays, heck, Murray was there a couple of years ago, and they had 50 weed whackers at full RPM running, and then they are doing different tests on each one of them, and those are just a little aluminum engines and full RPM. They're running them for days on end. They strip them down and look at some of their lubricants and their assemblies. So I'm really excited. The other thing about working with AMSOIL is not only do they have assembly lube, but break-in lube, and then they have all your zinc lubes. But one of the things I like about them is they're not a publicly traded company. And you're like, well, what does that mean? And I run to Walmart and I don't find them. Well, here's the thing. When you call them, you talk to a human being. And most of the time when you talk to them, you're not talking to a distribution. You're talking to you can get through real quickly and talk to some of the engineers who design and constantly work with this. And they're a family-owned company. So you have the original founder, Al, I'm going to mess up his name here, A-M-A-T-U-Z-I-O. And now his son is running the company. So they're a family-run company. They're not publicly traded, so you don't have to keep the investor happy. And what can we do to get more distribution channels and selling it cheaper and get it out to everybody. They focus more on quality and personal relationships. So if you go to Napa or you go to their website, or specialty builders, they're going to be using their oils. You're just not going to find them down at Walmart or Menards. You know, you're going to find, you know, this is the good stuff. So I'm really excited. I've been looking at some of their stuff. And when I work with Murray, and I mean, he's in, I don't know, National Hot Rod magazine this month, and he's been doing cars at the SEMA show for, I don't know, 20 some years in the Hot Rod magazine, their booth and other booths, and he's been running for years, and he has some really nice cars, and he's asked me to build his motor for Stubby Cat. So I just want to show you a couple of little quick things here, all right? Okay, so this is their break-in oil we're going to be using, and this is their assembly lube. And so here's my first two motors we're going to be working with. This is for Stubby Cat, an 1800 cc Porsche-inspired motor, then a local customer for 1641. And we have everything lined up here. And the other exciting thing is my father-in-law from California came out, and he brought this for me. And this is something I used back in Simi Valley, back when I was in my teens. My dad had one, and there's a shop back then, Ken's Off-Road, and they have that. So I'm excited about using that tool. Yeah, we have a lot of, you know, the torque wrenches, and I got the digital ones, so I'm excited about that. And one of the biggest thing is, like I showed you on one of the last builds, is we got a new rubber mallet. My other one was worn out. So yeah, we're going to be building them. We're going to be working. Here we go. I tell you what, vintage flat 4, boom.